John stared at his phone in disbelief. The screen glowed with an unfamiliar notification. One new voicemail. He frowned, puzzled by the unexpected message. With a hesitant tap, he pressed play. The voice that filled the air was his own, but it was different. Panicked, desperate. "Run," it screamed, the single word echoing through the quiet room. John's heart raced as he listened, his mind struggling to comprehend what he was hearing. As the message ended, his eyes darted to the timestamp. 5 minutes from now. Impossible, he thought. Yet there it was, clear as day. A voicemail from the future, warning him of some unseen danger. John's palms grew sweaty as he gripped the phone tighter. The technology he held in his hands, once a source of comfort and connection, now felt alien and threatening. How could it contain a message from a time that hadn't happened yet? He paced the room, his mind racing with possibilities. Was this some kind of elaborate prank, a glitch in the system, or something far more sinister? The urgency in his own voice haunted him, sending chills down his spine. Time seemed to stretch and warp around him. Each second that ticked by felt both agonizingly slow and terrifyingly fast. John found himself constantly checking the clock, watching as the minutes crept closer to the moment when he would supposedly leave that chilling message. The paradox of the situation wasn't lost on him. If he ran now, would he still make the call? And if he didn't run, what horror awaited him that would drive him to such desperation? The circular logic threatened to overwhelm him. As the fateful minute approached, John's anxiety reached a fever pitch. His eyes darted between the phone and the door, torn between the desire to flee and the need to understand. The air in the room felt thick, charged with an electric tension that made his skin crawl. Suddenly, a sound from outside caught his attention. A low, rumbling growl that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. John's blood ran cold as he realized that whatever had prompted his future self to leave that warning was now here. Without thinking, he grabbed his keys and bolted for the door. As he ran down the street, heart pounding in his chest, he fumbled with his phone with shaking fingers. He dialed his own number, knowing what he had to do. The line connected, and John heard his own breathless voice on the other end. "Run!" he shouted, pouring all his fear and urgency into that single word. As he ended the call, he realized with a start that he had just created the very message that had set this whole chain of events in motion. The world around him seemed to blur as he ran, reality bending and twisting in ways he couldn't comprehend. Past, present, and future collided in a dizzying whirlwind of cause and effect. John found himself trapped in a loop of his own making, forever running from a danger he couldn't see or understand. As he disappeared into the night, the echo of his own warning still ringing in his ears, John wondered if he would ever truly escape. The technology that had connected him to his future self now seemed like a curse, trapping him in an endless cycle of fear and flight. The streets were empty, silent except for the sound of his footsteps and ragged breathing. Yet John couldn't shake the feeling that something was following him, always just out of sight. The message from his future self played on repeat in his mind, driving him forward even as exhaustion threatened to overtake him. Time continued to distort around him, minutes stretching into hours, hours compressing into seconds. John lost all sense of how long he had been running or where he was going. All he knew was that he had to keep moving, driven by the desperate warning of his own voice. As dawn began to break, casting long shadows across the deserted streets, John finally slowed to a stop. He leaned against a wall, gasping for breath, and pulled out his phone. The screen was blank, no sign of the mysterious voicemail that had started it all. For a moment, he wondered if it had all been a vivid nightmare, but the ache in his legs and the fear still coursing through his veins told him otherwise. Whatever had happened, whatever was still to come, it was all too real. John looked up at the lightening sky, a mix of relief and dread washing over him. He had survived the night, heeded his own warning, but as he stood there, catching his breath, a new notification chimed on his phone. One new voicemail.